Hi, Sweet Pea.
I'm over.
How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. I'm very tired at the moment, actually.
Why are you so tired?
Why are you so tired?
Why are you so tired?
I'm so tired because for some reason my body woke me up this morning at 5:45.
Your body.
My body. I don't know why, because we haven't travelled that far, so it's not a jet lag or anything.
No.
But we're currently travelling, so that's why we're on slightly different mics.
Yes, I hope it sounds all right. They're lapel mics, so I'm trying very hard
no.
not to touch my general chest area.
Yes.
But I think the sound should be quite clear.
I think so. I've always wanted lapel mics, so that's
Oh,
good.
good. Why's that?
I don't know, they're just really cute little mics, aren't they? They're just like,
Yeah.
oh, hello, speaking to
Is
this.
that how they are?
Yeah.
I think of them as something a newsreader would be wearing, so I don't think they go, oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And now the 10 o'clock news with my lapel mic on.
Yeah, it's one like breaking news.
Yes.
Anyways, so we are travelling and I am knackered, actually. One of the other reasons I'm knackered from travelling is because travelling with you is an interesting experience for an 18-year-old.
Taken a bit of a nosedive.
Unfortunately, it has, because travelling with you, even if you have your as many rose oil drips on you as possible.
Rose oil drips?
Rose oil drops.
Oh, my rose oil drops.
Yeah, your droplets that you put
Yeah.
on every day. Even though you have those on, it is very difficult. I have to keep an eye on you constantly.
My liability.
A complete liability. We had to do this, you know, when they send you a code for
Yeah.
like a transaction or whatever, and they give you a safety code that you have to
from
read.
my banking app.
Yeah. I was sitting next to her, just minding my own business, and I hear her going, 826112, 826, trying to remember the code.
That's it.
And then on the very last time, as you were putting it, you went 826122. And I was just like, what is wrong with you, mummy? You can't do that. It's so bad.
And it said declined.
Declined, and you're like, what?
I was thrown out of everything.
What's happened?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what the problem is. I haven't been wearing my rose oil because we are travelling and I didn't bring it with us.
That's why.
So
Yes.
therein lies the problem.
Is that also why you had a lazy wheel on your suitcase?
No,
and so
that's just
were
the lazy
careering
wheel.
down the lanes.
I have a wheelie bag and one of the wheels is off, so it veers off sideways and just hits everyone in the shins. And I just have to apologise a lot. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's a proper English way. It was really funny because I was behind you and I was just watching you careering across everyone's path. Just like,
Complete
oh my
liability.
god.
Yeah, well, I was in airport mode. I had airport mode activated, and that means you walk very fast, you duck and dive
Yeah,
between
you find
people, and Sweet Pea just has to follow me.
I've
I've
had to do
relied
it-
on you following
yeah.
me from a very, very young age.
Since I was like 4.
I was steamed through.
Oh,
Anyway,
can
we
you-
get there quicker, don't we?
Can you imagine baby Sweet Pea having to run after
Aw.
mummy like, mummy?
You coped.
I was absolutely fine, luckily. But yeah, you really you find a gap in people that only opens for like a second
Yes.
and then closes.
Yeah.
And I'm somehow usually kind of hit a solid wall as I'm going behind you. So you get through it and I'm just like smack.
It's like Indiana Jones when he has to commando roll through a
Yeah,
closing cave or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except I'm the person 1 second behind you, so I miss the gap.
You just got to keep up, Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
You've got
Anyways,
long enough legs for it. You just steam on through.
that's why I'm quite tired. But we have Gardener's World, which is nice.
Yes,
And
looking
chill.
forwut to it. That does give us a chill moment, doesn't it? And kind of grounds us when we're away travelling.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, enough about me and my tiredness. How have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been great.
Oh, that's good.
Tired, but that's just par for the course at this time of life. Otherwise, what have I been up to? I guess getting the garden ready for when we go away. And also, do you remember I said I was going to share the quote that Monty made the other week? His quote about nature being part of us
Yes.
and how important it is to sort of be in harmony with all living things in your garden.
Yeah,
That
very.
kind of thing. And I said I
poetic.
wanted to share that with a friend of mine who had concreted over his garden, put
Yeah.
in 13 tons of gravel and has not an insect in sight. And you were nervous about me doing that, but I did send it over to him and he really liked the quote. He wanted
did.
a bit more insight into what it actually meant.
Yeah.
He couldn't comprehend what it meant about having living things in your garden.
He was receptive to it.
He was, yeah, I was impressed, and he likes the idea of inviting some bumblebees back in. Less
Yeah.
receptive about wasps. So we talked a bit about some things he could put in there. So I'm hoping I could turn him because, as I say, his wife is my gardening buddy who likes to visit gardens.
Yeah.
So if we can turn him, that would be amazing.
It would be very, very cool.
Good job done. Now, I have a bit of housekeeping from last week, sweetie.
I do too.
And it's kind of combined with messages.
Oh, cool.
So do you remember Steve and John from last week?
Yes, of course I do.
Their beautiful garden where we thought they could walk in and out in their socks.
Yes.
The orange chairs, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Well, Steve got in contact. So Steve, one half of the couple, his Instagram is called Steve in Brighton. And he responded and said, just had a listen, great podcast. Thanks for talking about our garden in Brighton. We'd be delighted to have a chit-chat sometime.
Great.
Great news.
Fist pump, air pump.
We normally try and keep it quite sort of stealth when we're inviting people on, so this is out there. We definitely would like to have Steve and John on.
Well,
they are up for it. So
yeah, exactly.
Let's get them booked into the diary. To answer a couple of your queries, the mustard is red dragon, not red snapper, so that's why you couldn't find anything other than Delia Smith recipes.
Red snapper and mustard.
John and I are average height when compared to the Arundo. It grows to about 12 feet in a year and would stay about that height if left unchecked.
Wow.
He then says, I'm chair of the Hardy Plant Society and the website was down for a couple of days because of a security attack. Thankfully, our firewall kicked in and protected it, but apologies you couldn't log in. So I've been in since, and it's a really beautiful looking website.
Oh, cool.
So check out the links in last week's blog for last week's episode.
Which now works.
And you'll be able to jump on their website. Absolutely gorgeous. And then he goes on to say, oh, and we've never vacuumed outside, honest.
Yeah, because we were thinking, gosh, they could just walk out barefoot, easy peasy.
Vacuum it like they do the house.
Yeah.
So thanks for that insight, Steve.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. And we really look forward to talking with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other piece of housekeeping that I asked you to have a look at, just because I was interested about the term, I hadn't really come across it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a novice with all this. The stigmatic lip that they talked about last week to do with irises, wasn't it?
Yes.
At Benton End.
Absolutely. So a stigmatic lip, it's just a specific kind of landing pad that's created. So it's much bigger and easier for the pollen to kind of be received than just the stigma, which is more kind of fine and so less pollen can get on it. Whereas a stigmatic lip, it's more of a pad on an iris flower where pollen is received. Functions like a stigma, as I said, and it's a lip-like flap of tissue located just underneath the upper petal crest at the top of the style arm.
Okay.
And then also, it's also found on orchids, but it is called more commonly a rostellum.
Right, when it's on an orchid.
When it's on an orchid. So stigmatic lip you'd use more for irises and then rostellum for orchids. And it's the same thing pretty much. It's a specialised flap which receives the pollen.
Yeah.
It's still the female kind of genitalia of the plant.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that's what I looked at.
That.
No worries.
Clear. Well, as we've said, we're not going to be having any no-way news or fun facts over the summer, really, because we are travelling and we're here, there, and everywhere.
Got a lot on.
We're trying to just shorten that element of it, but keep the important bit, which is gardeners' world. But a very, 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 very quick fun fact for you. I couldn't resist, sweetie.
You couldn't resist.
I found out this week that there's a word, an English word specifically meaning to slap someone around the face with a fish. Because I thought this might come in handy for you. And it's called cornobble.
Cornobble.
So if you cornobble somebody, or you want to cornobble somebody, so I might say, I'm going to cornobble you in a minute if you don't stop eating the chocolate. It means I'm going to slap you around the face with a wet fish. It actually generally means a dead fish.
Cornobble.
So there's a tiny little animal fun fact for this week.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. I want to write a song about that. I will cornobble you.
Well, look, we should get on, but just one quick piece of chit-chat catch-up, sweetie. It's about Delia's book.
Yes.
This is Delia at Honehill Dreaming, and she has her book coming out. Unfortunately, it will have all happened by the time this episode is published. But it's Delia at the Oldwell Garden Centre. The book is being launched at that garden centre in Tiverton.
Okay.
And so if you want to get hold of it, you needed to be there. I don't know whether to do past tense or future tense because it hasn't happened
confusing.
Yet. But it will have happened by the time you hear this. So you get it there, but also if you're prepared to wait, you can order it on Amazon. It's taken quite a while for them to come through. The earliest I could get it delivered was December.
Ooh.
But if you're willing to hold on, perhaps for a Christmas present, then you'll be able to get it there as well. I'll put links to all of that. And I guess if you're passing Tiverton ever down in Devon, then you can pick up the book in person from there.
Great stuff.
Best of luck to you, Delia. Very exciting times for her.
Very, very cool.
Right, let's have a look at this week's Gardener's World.
Absolutely.
This is Gardener's World 2026, episode 13, recap.
Off we go. So it's Monty, of course, and he is in the veg garden and he's talking about his onion senchu. Of course, this will all be written in the blog if you are subscribed. Any plant names I have written down, and that will be at the bottom of the email if you have subscribed to our website.
Right. Yes, there's a plant list for each episode.
Yeah, exactly, because this name is a little bit interestingly written. Senchu. Anyways, apparently moles are digging up the earth underneath.
Oh, so funny.
Which I didn't know was a thing that could happen in veg beds specifically. I thought they were kind of, especially raised veg beds. I didn't know that was going to be happening.
Well, it makes me think that that could have been the culprit of some of our problems previous years, because we've definitely got a rogue mole who's wandering around the place. He or she is digging up everything. And I have seen evidence of it in the veg garden, despite having raised beds.
Oh, really?
So I do wonder if we perhaps have just been having air under the roots of some of our plants.
Okay. Anyway, so obviously that's not good because they need contact with soil.
Yeah.
If they're in the air, they just kind of, die or dry out.
And the moles aren't damaging the onions, are they?
No, they're not eating
nibbling
them.
away on them.
No, not even slightly. They're not really that interested. So the onions are either really, really small or have bolted.
Yeah.
So they're just not looking very good, but they'll be great for the compost heap.
Well, no, he's putting them in the greenhouse to dry.
Well, yes, the ones that are good. Obviously, the ones which are teeny tiny, you can just compost them.
Oh,
it's
right,
great
okay.
compost. And then he goes over to the jewel garden where he's showing off and putting in some more plants to have a great display for summer.
Did you see that bit? It was so sweet because Ned was having a back rub. He was sort of squirming around on the ground like Hobbs does. And then there's this shot of Monty's feet and legs wheeling the wheelbarrow off down the path.
The usual.
And then you've got Ned coming and scampering along and then just seeing really his legs, and he overshoots where Monty's gone. So then there's a bit of a pause before then he comes back and follows Monty faithfully behind.
It's like Hobbs, the amount of times that she kind of overshoots and then she has to come back to me. Anyway, so he's putting in Salvia amistad, Helianthus aenus claret, so that's the sunflowers, and then Tithonia rotundifolia torch as well.
Yes.
Which can
gorgeous.
Yeah, they're gorgeous plants. I've always wanted them.
Hard to grow.
Super hard to grow. I cannot get them for the life of me.
No, for love nor money.
For love nor money. So I'm very sad about that because I was so hoping to have them this year.
Oh, your favourite colour.
Nada. Anyways, this is a celebration of the sun, apparently.
Yes.
That's what Monty says.
Because they're very bright. He said they're not as tall as sunflowers, but still has them in the middle of the border because they're so bright. They stand out. And they like full sun, don't they?
Sure do.
And then we head over with Arit, who last summer was in Greater Manchester, meeting up with Sharon Hockenhull, garden designer, in the gardens of a new build that she redesigned 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And the sort of a key element of it for Sharon was about attracting wildlife in.
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day. That's a really critical point. And we get on to that a bit more towards the end of this segment.
Yeah.
She talks about how she has created these kind of different spaces within the new build gardens.
Yeah, little rooms. As usual,
really. So she's got damp spaces. Interestingly, it was on a lot of sand, but still
damp,
very sort of boggy and damp in
I
that
know.
area.
She has some really peculiar things which I couldn't fathom how it works.
Yeah.
So as you said, damp but sand, so you think, but those are opposites, they can't work together, but it's compact enough and it's kind of in a dip, and so
some areas she talked about how a lot of the machinery was there, so it was really compacting the earth, and
exactly.
then all the, I guess there's then builders rubble to deal with, so she really, it was a very challenging space by the sounds of it, but she went with it. She's done some beautiful work, hasn't she?
She really has. And then she also had the gravel garden.
Well, before we get onto that,
so that's another opposite.
Oh right, yeah.
Just talking about the opposite. There were so many opposites in this garden. I thought it was quite incredible what she'd done.
So what plants do you get in the bog?
So
garden.
yes, in that area we had things like persicarias, hostas obviously are great. There was a slightly sunnier spot, I think, a bit further away where there were echinaceas, because I'm not sure how great they are in a really boggy garden.
They like it free draining and loads of sun, don't they?
Sun. But I think Arit kind of pointed to a sunnier area.
If they were yonder there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you see some gunneras in that bog bit?
Yes, I did spot those.
And then we went over to that sunny, dry garden. There was more structure in there. And then there were a few plants that got rattled off there as well.
Yeah, so we had Verbena Bampton. Absolutely love this.
Yes.
There's something about it. The colour, the formation. It's a perfect plant.
Yeah.
Absolutely want this in our garden.
Oh, really?
If we ever spot this in a
garden centre,
yeah, we have to get this.
Okay.
Then there was Stipa tenuissima, echinaceas, cosmos, verbascums, and nicotiana, which we come back to talk about a little bit later, because
that's right,
we have to talk about what's going on at night.
At night time, yeah. And then there was a more sort of a freer, more relaxed meadow and orchard.
Love that.
I really did. And to get the meadow going, Sharon talks about how there was a lot of excavated soil from the walled kitchen garden that had been created, and you get a nice drone view of this lovely looking. It was based, it was a Victorian style, but modern walled kitchen garden. Gorgeous. There was a lot of sand, and they basically could start from scratch with the sowing. And so she had a mix of things like yellow rattle, legumes, clovers, grasses. And she talked about the animals that have been attracted to that meadow on account of that meadow.
Very nice collection.
Yeah, the cinnabar moths and the burnet moths were beautiful, weren't they? She said they just were seeing this year the burnet moths. They're also getting crickets. She mentions anthills, rabbits, foxes, badgers. All of them are welcome in this garden.
I really, really like that. I mean, we know we have our badger.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sure there are hedgehogs around the place.
I'm so on board with this garden. The meadow bit actually was reassuring for me. We haven't got yellow rattle in ours.
No,
but we have got those legumes in there. We've got the clover. And it's rough around the edges. It could look pretty. I've definitely seen prettier meadows, but there's a wealth of life going on in there and above there. There are always butterflies around, always moths around, buzzing stuff. There are slithery things. I mean, I had quite a jump this last week with a snake slithering through the meadow. Hobbs has had a jump when she, for some unknown reason, decides she wants to curl up in a little nest in the meadow. When there's plenty of other places she could curl up. She chooses to go into my meadow.
Yeah.
And she does her going round and round and round before she then slumped down briefly, and then leapt out of there.
I've never seen her ping into the air so high. It was really, really cute. It was like those cartoons, like boing.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And it was a snake who clearly thinks it's a nice home for them.
Like, excuse me. It's so interesting because we're currently travelling and we're in an area where there is no life. It's dead. Even though there are kind of gardens around, they're so...
They've got nothing going on. I mean, I'm looking at one out the window now, and what they've done is they've got great big slabs. They look like concrete slabs. I'm sure they're very expensive tiles. There's a load of white pebbles where you might normally want to put a load of planting. There are then these little ball topiary shrubs, two of which are dead, so they're just brown. So that just looks ugly. This huge sphere water feature, which isn't turned on. And I have no problem with the water feature if that was in amongst. That could look stunning. So it's silver, so it's very reflective. And I would say it's about 3 foot in diameter, sort of a metre diameter, maybe bigger actually. And I could imagine if that was surrounded by really sort of free planting, breezy, wispy planting, grasses.
Some Verbena bonariensis would look lovely against
airy, airy planting. I think that would look gorgeous, but as it is, it just sits amongst concrete and pebbles.
It's really, really sad. And like yesterday, we tried to kind of just sit outside for a bit, and I think there was one bee. One lone bee. It was really sad.
It's very sad, isn't it?
Where are all our
little buddies?
Little bees got baby wasps.
Sad.
But what I did like, and I did wonder on this section, how long did the gardening crew stay for it to get dark?
Yes.
Because they already stayed till quite something like They do 7 till 6.
It's normally 8 till 6.
8 till
people
6,
say.
sorry. Yeah.
And this was filmed last summer, so I'm assuming they had to wait till, I don't know, what do you reckon, 10 o'clock at night?
At least 10 o'clock for it to be that dark.
Yeah. But it was worth hanging around till that late because you got to see how Sharon goes about lighting the garden. And she talks then about the Nicotiana. That was something I noticed. Arit calls it Nicotiana, that's it.
Yeah, there are a few ways of saying it. It's like clematis.
And she said it's important to consider all your nighttime pollinators as well. So that's obviously your bats and your moths, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when you're lighting a garden, you need to consider 3 things. Sharon recommends that you keep your lighting with low lumen lights, so nothing too bright.
Yeah.
Also, have them low level. So have them for lighting up your pathways.
Yeah.
Nice and low to the ground so that they don't disturb the wildlife so much. And then less is more. So reduce how much lighting you have in your garden.
Absolutely.
Because it disorientates all your nighttime pollinators.
I agree with that.
Well, Sharon's got a lot of knowledge on this topic. She actually designed a feature garden for RHS Tatton Park Flower Show a few years back.
Oh,
I think it was 2023, and it was all about supporting nocturnal pollinators, and it was called the RHS Nocturnal Pollinator Experience.
Oh, there you go. Says it on the tin.
On her blog, which I'll link, Sharon talks about case studies that suggest moths are far more complex pollinators than bees. Moths will visit the same plants as bees and butterflies and hoverflies and all our daytime pollinators, but will also visit plants that the day shifters miss. And so they're much more efficient as a result in terms of our pollinators. So we really should be, obviously all the bees, butterflies, all the ones that we see in the day, of course they're vital as well.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
we really do need to think more about moths.
I think it's just having the equilibrium as per usual.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't start going, we just want moths now.
No.
That won't do any good whatsoever.
No, absolutely
but
not.
It's not a laughing matter because that's the kind of thing that we've done. We've been like, now we just want honeybees. So people have gone crazy for honeybees. And then
that's so true.
Wild bees have kind of been
they're struggling,
kind of shoved out the door almost. It's like, we don't want you anymore. We like the cute little honeybees.
Well, and interesting you say that because it's similar to another problem that has caused difficulties for moths and your night pollinators is street lighting. So a lot of councils have gone from those... Street lights used to be sort of an orange glow and quite a muted glow. You know, there's no hard edges to the light that was produced. And then for cost-saving purposes, because they're cheaper to run, they installed all these horrible LED lights.
Which just...
really bright.
Burns through
really
your face,
bright,
frankly.
Really sharp edges to the light.
Harsh.
And apparently they've been an absolute nightmare for our nighttime pollinators who've just got really disorientated. But the things that we could be doing in our gardens, as Sharon mentions on her website, is thinking about the habitat. So keep things that you consider a weed. We're already doing that. We have so many nettles, you wouldn't believe. We're supporting all the butterflies that lay their eggs on nettles and moths as well. But moths tend to lay on specific weeds. Generally, it's not your garden plants that you've put in. So keep some of those weeds because you start strimming those, wiping those out, you're wiping out a whole load of moth eggs. And we really need to hold on to our moths.
Well, we are doing so well with the amount of weeds in our garden.
We are. We're really supporting them. We have log piles. Log piles, of course, are great, are really good habitat.
We've got loads.
They provide safety, very important. It also got me thinking about which plants are good for moths. Something that Sharon mentions on her website is jasmine. She's used that a lot in her feature gardens. She's used it in this garden that we looked at on Gardeners World. But other plants that are good are evening primrose. Honeysuckle's very good.
Oh, yeah.
White campions. Generally, white is good.
White campions are great. I remember I did my school, I did an oral on this.
Yeah.
Very
Sweet
interesting.
rocket, the white one. Lady's bedstraw, mullein, mint, and foxgloves.
Hey!
As if I couldn't love this plant anymore. They attract the lesser yellow underwing moth, also the angleshades moth, and, do you remember this was mentioned on Gardeners World recently, the cetaceous Hebrew character.
Yes. Well, it has such a cool name.
I think that was in the garden in Headington, Oxford, wasn't it? He had a wildlife garden there.
we're back with Monty again. He's checking out his tomatoes, which are growing very well. They're in the greenhouse.
Yes.
But they can get quite a lot of whitefly, especially in those conditions. So he's just putting in some kind of pest control plants, which are a really easy way of getting rid of whitefly, just kind of deterring them and making them slightly confused.
Yeah.
Which is really
It's
cool.
your sacrificial plant, isn't it?
Precisely. So tagetes, the French marigolds, perfect plants. And then also basil.
Yes,
Basil
I didn't
is
know that.
absolutely fantastic. I did know about that, and that is why we have so many basil plots in the tomato beds.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I
You
wanted.
knew that they deterred whitefly?
Yeah. Oh, and I knew that they deterred a lot of pests.
Right.
From the plants, and I really liked the lemon one.
Yeah.
The lemon basil.
Yeah.
That's also great because it has such a kind of lemongrass scent to it.
Right.
That's going to be perfect for deterring pests.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's a scent that they do not like.
That's good for
whatsoever.
mosquitoes as well.
Mosquitoes. Precisely.
Oh, lovely. So you've got that all nicely set up in the veg garden then.
Precisely. And then he talks about the peach tree, and this is where he's got to do a little bit more pest control.
Biological control here.
Biological, because he has the spider mite, and that kind of sucks away at the sap from the leaves, and then the leaves
they're
just
horrible.
Kind of die, and
Yeah.
it's just frankly miserable at that point. So he has a thing called Photocelius, and that eats away at the spider mite. They are the predator of spider mite.
They are. They're a little mite.
They're a little mite themselves.
Feeds on spider mites.
Yeah.
I love biological control.
I do.
I just think it's a wonderful,
peaceful way of
perfect
doing
storm, really.
Yeah, exactly. And then when they are feeding on the mites, they turn red, so you'll see the little kind of specks of red on your leaves, and you'll know that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because Monty got really quite animated about it. He was like, and then they suck away at the insides of the other ones, and I was like, Monty.
Oh, lovely. I love that. And he uses a spray, but you can also get them in sachets, can't you, which you hang on your plants, and then they wander out and catch the spider mites.
Exactly.
Beautiful work. We then meet Hayley Holgate in her beautiful little garden near Maldon in Essex.
Yeah.
This is a small north-facing garden, 6 metres by 12 metres, so I have definitely seen smaller.
Yeah.
Heavy Essex clay, she says.
Very.
And she gives a bit of backstory to how this came about. She had been caring for her parents, and 7 years ago, she found she had more time on her hands, as sadly she lost both of them quite close together. And so she started working on her garden and really worked through her grief.
Yeah.
Utilising the garden as a tool for that.
Perfect way to do it, I think.
So she took out all the grass. I'll tell you a bit more about that later. And then she made a gravel garden with raised beds.
Yes.
And you see some old photos of it, and you just see how it's grown and grown. And it was flourishing, wasn't it?
And it was so packed with plants.
Absolutely packed.
I couldn't see a single speck of dirt.
She had so much going on in there. Her favourite plant is the Astrantia major.
Yeah, so she has Astrantia major rubra. That's obviously a kind of dark crimsony colour. And then she has Astrantia superstar as well. That's more of a kind of silvery white colour.
White one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She says it flowers for months and you don't have to deadhead them.
So
It's a
easy.
nice low maintenance plant.
Yes, and they do hybridise with each other, so be careful, you'll get some funny colours
Oh,
popping up.
right. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I like it when that happens.
Yeah, some people like it, not everyone though, they can get quite annoyed.
Well, yeah, if you're particular about your colour scheme.
Yeah.
But I like, it's like when, what are they?
Aquilegias?
Well, aquilegias do them, but the ones that like being by water that we can't grow, sort of candly ones, what are they called?
Candelabra primulas.
Is it
Candelabra
those?
primulas,
And when
yes.
they hybridise, you get kind of this, like a watercolour, you know, when you blend colours
Yes.
in watercolours and they sort of fuse into each other.
Absolutely, a kind of ombre effect
Yes,
of colours.
that's it. I
Yeah.
really love it when that happens. I
Yeah,
wonder if these Astrantias do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it, especially next to water, it just glows.
Oh, it'd be so nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Something we'll never have. Hayley talks about how she's been learning as she goes along. She's
Yeah.
figuring out what works, what doesn't, and she's been enjoying playing with the colours of the plants and all the colour combinations.
Exactly.
She talks about the ferns and the aces, which she absolutely loves, and her garden provides just the right conditions for both of those.
It
'Cause
truly
it is so
does.
shady, isn't it?
She then had this beautiful little border area where she picked out a few plants which kind of perfectly complemented
Yep.
each other. She had Geomaitai, so that has the lovely burgundy stem and a kind of orangey peachy colour.
Yes.
Can go kind of pink. It kind of it changes as it opens and kind of dies away. Then there was Euphorbia minus Merlot, so
Yeah.
that had a nice burgundiness in that. Acer palmatum garnet, obviously burgundy again.
Yep.
And then the salmia orange, which was obviously a lovely kind of deep orange colour.
Yeah.
Really love that.
Now, Hayley's got a slight advantage because she works in a library. So she's got great access to a wealth of gardening books. Can you imagine? You would just be bringing those home constantly.
Absolutely. But I've always thought I'd love to work in somewhere like Waterstones.
Yes, I've thought that for you as well. It'd be your perfect place to work.
Oh, it'd just be bliss because I could just spend my days talking to people about books that I've read that I really like, especially on the crime thriller front. And then I can just be mooching around, checking out books, reading a little excerpt of this, of that, having a lot of fun with it.
I think the problem would be you'd spend too much time with your head in a book, and because you're not very good at multitasking, you wouldn't notice customers coming in and asking you, excuse me,
and I'd be like, shush, I'm trying to read.
Well, anyway, Hayley's got access to all these fantastic books, and the interesting thing was that she found that some things work despite them not meaning to work. So, for example, she has a lot of acid-loving plants.
Yes.
And largely because she put them in before she knew that you needed to consider the pH of the soil. So she had, for example, did you get the chili lantern tree?
Yeah, the Crinodendron Heucherianum. That was a really pretty one, had little lanterns, as it says. And she also had the Pieris Flaming Silver as well. And these are both acid-loving plants.
And despite her having alkaline to neutral soil, they're doing all right.
Exactly.
Her advice is don't be afraid to experiment, and also put lots of plants in the middle as it draws the eye away from the edges and it makes it all feel bigger.
Yeah.
Also, she has a meandering path. We know that always helps.
Always.
And don't feel you have to buy the plants big because it only takes one season to grow into a decent size.
Exactly.
It's a good advice.
We've really had that. I mean, I put in little salvia, our blue salvia plants. Don't know the name of them, sorry about that.
Yeah.
But I put them in, absolutely minuscule, and now they're proper
great, aren't they?
bushy plants, and that was only just this year.
We have found consistently that anything that we put in really, really, really small as a plug plant, they're the plants that are doing the best.
Absolutely.
They become really strong and healthy, don't they?
Exactly.
And we never have to worry about them. They sort it all out themselves.
Yep.
And the final thing that Hayley mentions is that she's quite an anxious person, but the garden helps her relax, and she's pretty sure her dad would approve.
Yes.
Well, Hayley is on Instagram. Her account is called Essex Tiny Garden. And she has loads of wonderful photos and videos on there sharing her space. She's also done a walkthrough of the garden. So you get every single nook and cranny. Like, it's really thorough. She's not, trying to hide certain parts of the garden.
Like we would.
Trying to do some clever editing. It's just an absolute walkthrough. So you feel like you're right there, turning around, looking at all the angles. It's a great little video.
I like that.
I'll link that specific one. She does even say actually on it, it's a warts and all video, but as one commenter said, saw absolutely no warts. It only looks good. So she really knows what she's doing.
Wow.
Apparently the filming took place almost a year ago in 32 degrees heat, and it was your usual 8 till 6 long day of gardening, of filming. And she said, I'm not a confident person and suffer from anxiety, but all I could think was that my dad would have been so proud of me. And she also said how the team really looked after her. And we hear that consistently, don't we? That the Gardeners World team really take care. Although they're very sort of structured and organised and efficient, they also take care of the guests.
Yeah, they really do. They make it a kind of homely space for them.
Nice vibe, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, I mentioned earlier about the lawn.
Yes, you did.
She says on a post, she said, I decided I could do something with the garden if I got rid of the scruffy lawn. I mentioned it to my lovely husband. I came home one day to find just bare earth. He hasn't done any gardening since, but I've had so much fun. So he went out and removed all the turf for her. There she had a blank canvas and she could get as carried away as she wanted to.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That was his contribution.
I would love to just say, I wish that was done or whatever. And then next thing, bing, it's done.
Wouldn't that be bliss?
Monty is then looking at 2 roses, the Munstead Wood and the Darcy Bustle, both beautiful kind of, what would we call these, plummy colours.
Yes.
I would go with that. So he was just marvelling at them, how beautiful they were. That was it.
Only he does say if you have a good red rose, treasure it. And I was thinking, well, we have got a good red rose, which we don't necessarily treasure. It's kind of in amongst our other roses.
I try to really look at the velvety redness
Really
and go,
look at it. You
hello.
eyeball it, do you?
I eyeball it.
I put some photos on our Instagram. I should put it on this week's webpage because it's a beautiful clarity colour. It's very velvet, isn't it?
Yeah,
We should do a little appreciation photo because Monty told us to.
Yes. And then he goes over to pot up an azalea, which is weirdly called a rhododendron luteum.
I mean, they don't make it easy in
I
the
mean,
gardening
come
world, do
on.
they? What the heck was that about?
This is ridiculous. People trying to understand horticulture are just going to be like, this is stupid.
Oh, so annoying.
I don't get it. But
Yellow flowers on that one.
Yeah, yellowy golden flowers. Needs ericaceous acidic compost. So he's putting in leaf mould in there, which is about a 6 on the pH scale.
Yeah, he says azaleas and rhododendrons need 5 to 6 pH, don't they?
Exactly. Grit as well, because they need the free drainage.
Yes.
In a nice big pot. It needs some shade. It also likes rainwater as well.
Because tap water can be quite alkaline.
Exactly. So rainwater is just the best. So make sure you have a butt next door.
Make sure you got a butt.
The correct butt.
And also he does just mention that if you're, whilst he's putting his into a bigger pot, if you want to keep it in a smaller pot, if you want to keep it small, you do just need to keep trimming it back and replace the soil around the roots as well.
Exactly. That's exactly what bonsai is. You're just constantly clipping, pruning to a tight form.
And then we get to see a border that's going to be at Gardeners World Live next week. This is Ellen Pye's border, and it's based on Morris dancing.
It is.
Now, Ellen changed gardening 2 years ago from working in an art gallery previously, and she Morris dances with a group called Heat Morris, which is made up of women and non-binary people, which wouldn't traditionally be the thing when Morris dancing was first occurring back in its day.
Which is great.
It's fantastic.
That's very cool.
It means just evolving as we're meant to as humans.
Just flowing with the times.
Let's just all evolve. Her garden is therefore designed around Morris dancing. So she has a maypole, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely essential, I would have thought, for Morris dancing.
If you don't have that, what's the point?
She's using meadow flowers, hedgerow flowers, and she's going to have some jingling bells there too.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, she is wanting some hops.
Yes.
Because whenever, apparently, they go dancing, they bring their pewter tankards with them for any ale or top-ups. Now, I didn't know Morris dancers did that.
I did not know they did.
Sounding more and more fun. I don't know if you remember, we were once in, actually it was a Waterstones. It was a Waterstones cafe. I'd been looking, you were very little, so you might not remember.
Oh.
You were probably about 3 or 4. 3 or 4, 3. I can remember it so vividly. You were in a little check green and white dress. Little white t-shirt underneath,
bucket
and then
hat.
You had this bucket hat on. And I'd finished looking at books, and I had told you, if you let Mummy just have some quiet time to look at books, then you can have some cake in the cafe.
Of course I took that. Of course I took it.
So you were as quiet as a mouse.
Obviously.
So then we went to have said cake, and that was out on a balcony that overlooked the street below. And whilst we were sitting there eating cake, nothing can distract you from cake other than Morris dancers. And there was a whole group of Morris dancers down below, skipping and jumping, and bells are clanging and dancing around. And you were mesmerised. You had your hands on the back of your chair. You were kneeling on the chair, peering over, watching these Morris dancers. Cake was just left on your plate.
Seriously?
Yeah?
I left cake?
Yeah, you left cake.
I left cake? That wouldn't happen today.
Anyway.
Very cool. Well, some other plants that she was going to be popping in her borders, the dog rose, the Rosa canina, oxeye daisies as well, field scabious, a breeza media, that's the quaking grass, has a lovely little kind of grass seed to
Those
it.
little bells.
Little bells, exactly. So it works perfectly with the Morris dancing.
Yes.
And then a corn marigold as well that she showed at the end.
Now, did you feel anxiety because she had so much flowering already? And it just took me back to when we saw the episodes for some of the other shows so far, and all the techniques that growers and showers are trying to use to either speed up or slow down the process. Yeah. And I think one thing that we saw was putting them in a lot of shade.
Yes,
wasn't it? And
a lot of shade.
Restricting their sunlight.
Quite cold as well, because then they kind of
it.
feel like they need to be more dormant.
Yeah.
or hold on for flowering because
Oh, it's
there
frightening,
won't be
isn't it?
insects around.
Yeah.
Very stressful.
Well, Ellen's a ragger. Can you remember what rag is? WRAG. This is the Work and Retrain as a Gardener scheme.
Oh.
So she's been through that, and this is her first show garden. It's called May Morning, and this is what she says about it. The design centres on May Day, the most important date in the Morris calendar, where dancers meet before dawn to celebrate the return of the sun. I hope to inspire conversation about folk traditions and their connection to the natural world.
Very cool. Then we're back with Monty again, and he's talking about growing cucumbers outside. So he's added lots of compost to the bed so that they can have plenty of nutrients, and he's putting in cucumber market more in there. And then around the outside of it, he's putting dwarf French bean maxi as well.
Yeah. Now, sweetie, something I keep meaning to mention is, we talked about the Super El Nino. It actually now has been confirmed that we are going to have a Super El Nino. So whilst Monty says it's a reasonable summer to be growing cucumbers, it's warm enough, next year is probably going to be even hotter.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, you obviously can think of all the problems that come with that, but also I think it's about adapting what we plant next year.
Yes.
So cucumbers can definitely be going in the ground. I imagine aubergines, peppers,
yeah,
all those things.
The heat-loving ones.
Yeah, we'll enjoy that heat. So I think we're just going to have to rethink how we do next year. We will start to get the impact of it around November this year, I believe.
Okay, so quite a wet.
So probably wetter.
Okay.
Wetter and warmer winter.
Gotcha.
And then, gosh, I mean, they're having heat waves across Europe this year already.
Oh my gosh, crazy ones.
So can you imagine what it's going to be like next year across Europe? Might want to avoid Europe.
Yeah. Very good point. Need to adapt planting.
It's all about adapting.
Yeah. Then he talks about his nettle feed.
Yes.
Which he's very happy this isn't smelly vision.
Yep.
Because cool blimey, does it reek? I actually watered the lemon trees before we left because I thought they need a kind of good glug but with some feed as well. So I did that all beforehand, and next thing it's on garden as well. And you want to just do a ratio of about 10-1, but in any case, if you dilute it more, that's better. Don't under dilute.
You don't want it too concentrated, do you?
You can burn the roots, you can burn the stems because it's
a bit too
hot.
vicious.
Exactly.
I feel the need for feed.
Oh my gosh, we should print that on a t-shirt. I feel the need for feed. Or more like, I feel the need to weed.
I get that as well.
That could work.
Well, then finally we go with Joe Swift to Beaminster in Dorset, to a house that's gone through the generations, he says.
Yes, it really has.
And this is the garden of Annie and Jonathan Roberts, who also get called Anne and Johnny and John.
So they go through the names, don't they?
Yeah, we've got a variation on the theme of Annie and Jonathan.
Cool.
And they've been transforming that garden over a number of years. I think they've been there for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And they bought it of someone who was an extremely good gardener, but it was very high maintenance.
Ooh, I wouldn't want that.
They have simplified it.
Yeah.
It's now a bit more wild.
A bit more wild, but still very formal.
Some formal areas, some really wild areas.
Yeah.
I'm very much enjoying this more wild gardening. It's definitely right up my street.
Absolutely.
So Joe asks if Annie and John have the right balance with, everything that they've changed within the garden. And I love how John says, well, you try to drive out nature with a pitchfork and back she comes.
Yeah, she does.
Which is so true. Back Mother Nature comes for sure.
Absolutely.
Joe asks them then if they get along when gardening. And John says they have something which they call garden rage.
Yeah.
And Annie goes on to define it using an example. She said that because John's very tall, he gets caught up in the tree branches, all tangled up, so he cuts off any that he wants to walk through. Doesn't do the other side, so you've got all these lopsided trees. So we then, I guess, we have to fill in the gaps of what happens with the garden rage at that point.
Yeah.
What Annie has to say to Jonathan.
Yeah.
They've changed a manicured lawn into a meadow.
Looked just like ours, frankly.
It really did, didn't it?
I know. I was like, oh, you in our garden?
I was chuffed to bits about that. And they only mow it once a year. and they just let it do its thing.
Well, there we go. That's all we have to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would still like to get some clippings from somewhere like Great Dixter. pop in some of their, I don't know, orchid seeds and see what we can get. Anyway,
Sissinghurst as well. Yeah.
they have a more formal border, and once again, Jo wants a name for it.
Oh my gosh, this was hilarious. I was like, Jo, stop changing the name.
Stop forcing names on people.
Yes.
He says, what do you
ridiculous.
call this area,
Yeah.
Anne? And she says it's meant to be a herbaceous border.
Yeah.
And he says, well, it's very cottagey.
Yeah,
I would say this is a cottage style
mhm.
planting. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And he points out the Phoebe view, and Jo loves the giant scabious.
Yeah, this is Cephalaria gigantea.
Yeah.
And Annie also points to further along the border to the Physocarpus that has the beautiful burgundy leaves, stems,
Yes.
flowers.
Next to a white rose and a
Yeah.
pink cosmos.
Exactly, just the colours really bounce off each other.
Yeah. And also, sorry, there was a sedum
Oh, yes.
with the cosmos, wasn't there?
Absolutely.
And then John's domain is that veg garden, which is
Mhm.
beautiful, lovely, neat rows, and it's really thriving.
Mm.
And as Jo says, as you're maturing, shall we say, John? Again, it's about how they've adapted.
Yeah.
And John says it's no dig. So
Yeah.
that's what he's been doing. That's his, the new method that he uses for it.
Exactly.
And it's working very well for him. He lets the worms do their work, drawing the compost down. He said the only thing is root crops. They don't do quite so well because if you give, for example, carrots too much compost, they can divide and split.
Yeah.
But the brassicas, lettuces, peas, they all do great.
Exactly.
Another thing I liked was when John said he had heard in Italy how a vegetable loses one flavour for every hour that it's picked. So how they try to really get it fresh. So he said if we can pick a veg at 6 and eat it by 8,
Yes.
that's the best way.
Absolutely. I think that's the only way of doing it.
Yeah.
We walked out the other day and we had some raspberries, we had some golden ones and some red ones, and we just picked them straight off and ate them. Just there.
Red currants, we had some peas as well, brought all those in, ate them immediately. But really, that's the biggest thrill of having a veg garden, is that you get it as soon as you want to cook it, or ideally eat raw would be the perfect way of eating it.
Yeah.
So you can get a young courgette that you're not finding in the supermarket because they're too tender. They just get bashed about and bruised if they're in a supermarket.
Yeah.
But you can pick this tender young courgette, chop it up, put it in a salad without cooking it. Oh, it's one of my greatest thrills, sweetie, during the summer is getting courgettes like that.
But I'd say that actually one of the reasons I got into gardening was because of kind of growing your own, because I got quite into cooking as well. I would say I got into cooking and gardening precisely at the same time.
Oh, right.
And so I got into kind of just having a knowledge of flavours and understanding food and what you can do with it and how it can taste amazing. So all those little things you can do to stuff courgettes and
yummy.
Just bliss.
Courgette flowers.
Courgette flowers.
Oh, it's all good, isn't it? Look, we'll be here all day if we talk about all the food we like.
Well, the final thing is talking about self-seeders.
Yes.
In kind of the gravel, the little kind of paving areas.
In walls.
Walls and borders. And things like Alchemina mollis are just gorgeous. They give a lovely frothy texture to a hard edge. And then the Erigeron Carvinskianus, that's a Mexican fleabane.
And that was all in the wall, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
absolutely
loved that. And I had actually seen very recently a photo on Harriet Rycroft's Instagram. And she was in Cornwall and she saw a wall with all these Erigerons in and took a beautiful photo of it. I really love the look of that. Obviously Cornish walls, they're great. They're thriving, aren't they?
Of course.
They're not just a stone wall. They've got everything in them, haven't they?
A whole city of wildlife in there.
Yeah. So seeing the Erigerons in her photo, I thought was stunning. And then to see it again in Annie and John's garden, I truly love that look. I'd love to try and encourage some Erigerons into all our stonework.
Yeah, I'm very on board with that.
And then finally we meet Annie and John's daughter Flora, who's a renowned Dorset artist, and she gets a huge amount of inspiration from her parents' garden.
Obviously.
And she says how she finds the garden is very relaxing and calm, and her 4-year-old son Jesse can spend a whole afternoon in the garden, and that's where we have what Jo talked about at the beginning was, 3 generations of family in the one garden. So I don't think it's a garden that's gone through the generations of one family. I think it's just the fact that there's Granny Annie, Grandad John, little Jessie and Flora there. So you've got those 3 generations right there. It really is a beautiful garden. You can imagine just being able to tear around in it as a young kid because there seem to be so many areas to it and so much space.
Entirely.
Well, Flora is a Scottish-born artist and designer.
Oh.
So clearly that's where they've all headed from. And Flora was in London prior to moving to Dorset herself 3 years ago. So she now lives near Annie and John. And she said she likens the county to where she grew up in Scotland, with its rambling hills, wildness, history and sense of mystery. She sells her beautiful paintings, some of which you saw, well, we saw a little bit of it on the segment, didn't we? You can buy her paintings. I'll put her website on our page. Her paintings are for between £400 to £850. Ooh. What I particularly love, though, is her wallpaper. So she does beautiful hand-painted wallpaper with these beautiful scenes. She also does murals. You can commission her to do a mural, and there's a beautiful photo of this huge, vast wall that she's painted, and it's really a very dreamy image of wildflowers and planting. So
I want to see that.
Yeah, I think you'd really enjoy it. In terms of Annie and John's garden, it can actually be visited, but only through a kind of secret garden thing.
Okay.
And it seems to be through a company called the G&T Secret Garden Tours.
Oh.
And they take you around a few of these gardens in Dorset, and Annie and John's is called The Wall, and they've just finished doing their secret garden tours right now, just prior to this episode of Garden as well. But it does seem to have happened the last couple of years, so hopefully it'll be the next year. But I'll put a link to the G&T garden tour so you keep an eye on that to see if it comes up next year.
Great.
If you are interested in visiting their garden. Also, John has an Instagram account. It's called My Cat Catty. And on there, he's quite a sporadic poster. There hasn't been anything for a year or so.
Yeah.
But if you want to get more idea of what their garden looks like, check that out as well. I'll link it. He's got probably, I don't know, about 40 photos on there.
Oh, cool.
And you can see the various nooks and crannies of their garden.
Oh, great. Well, finally, Monty, he's just doing a bit of weeding.
Oh, it's gusty hair wind flaps in his garden, isn't it? Yeah. Blowing a hoolie.
It's blowing an absolute hoolie. Yes. So he talks about how he puts everything on the compost heap, just bar bindweed, ground elder, couch grass. I don't get why people call it couch grass. It's couch grass. You don't sit on a couch. You sit on a couch.
You might sit on a couch. But is it? Yeah, I don't know if it's couch or couch grass.
It's couch. It's spelt couch.
Well, we're back to clematis clematis, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm just not on board with the couch.
Okay, well, you're going to have to get over it.
That's the American way of saying it.
Is it? Well, Monty is international.
International. Well, he then shows his beautiful roses, which he does a bit of pruning of just to deadhead and make sure you can have plenty of flowers coming. And he has one called Rose Charles de Mills.
Yes, a Gallica.
Exactly.
And then he talks about spending 10 minutes a day immersed in roses. Enjoy it. I do have to say, I love deadheading the roses. It's a very mindful process.
Very satisfying.
It's one of my pottering jobs, and I love all pottering jobs in the garden.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them. If all my gardening could be pottering rather than the heavy-duty hard labour.
Oh, of course.
I think
would
everyone
be very
feels
like that.
Then it's jobs for the weekend.
Yeah.
Thin fruitlets. I mean, this struck me as complete madness. Our plum tree is so full, I would hate to remove half of those plums. They still all come through absolutely fine, though.
Yeah, they do.
I don't see it as an issue.
Yeah, I suppose you just kind of get a bit bigger, better, juicier. Especially with things like kind of peaches and apples. And anyways.
Give hedges a light trim. Sow Florence fennel.
Yep.
So, sweetie, your favourite plant of this episode?
That was the Verbena Bampton right at the beginning. Really breezy, lovely, airy, just a nice colour.
That was in Sharon's garden, wasn't it?
The one that we have to look out for in garden centres.
By the way, I forgot to mention that Sharon now continues maintaining that garden. So not only did she design and build it, she now is able to maintain it, so she gets to enjoy the evolution of it through the years.
Oh, great.
That must be so satisfying, because can you imagine you design a garden and put all that blood, sweat and tears into it and then you never see it again?
That'd be awful. That's absolutely awful. What's your favourite plant?
My favourite was the Erigerons in the wall.
Yes,
At Annie and John's place.
Yep.
And your top takeaway?
Well, I'm between talking about gardening 24 hours a day, and then also garden rage, which I think is a very cool thing to have. And I like that people talk about it because everyone's so like
relatable.
Yeah, it's so relatable because everyone's like, oh, it brings such peace and tranquility. But the amount of times I've walked out into the garden going, oh my God.
You get a lot of garden rage. Like, you prefer if I'm not in the vicinity.
I do.
You just become one-track minded about it. I tend to try and stay away from you. I'm not joking about this, by the way. You should have a talk with yourself because it's not pleasant.
I know, because for me, if I'm gardening, I'm not there to be around people. And that includes you. I'm not there to talk with you. I don't want to talk.
All right.
What's yours?
Well, mine is rethinking the lighting after what Sharon talked about.
Yes.
We do have festoon lights. They're solar powered. They sort of line the that sort of pergola structure that we've got the roses up on the river terrace. And I really like them, but I wonder if that's causing any disruption. We've also got the solar festoon lights in the greenhouse, but hopefully that's not so bad.
I think it's all right because they're very dim. They're not
very mellow lights,
They're
aren't they?
so mellow. Like, you can barely see anything when you're sitting under them.
I suppose that's true. I suppose they'd be similar to candlelight, which is what Sharon recommends, is having tea lights in a lantern. That gives a nice mellow light, and that lasts sort of 3 to 4 hours.
Yep.
So, yeah, maybe I shouldn't worry. But
no,
that
I don't
was
think
my
you
top
should.
takeaway.
Cool.
Well, we have, of course, Gardeners World live next week.
We do.
It will be televised on the 19th of June. And this is what they say about the episode coming up.
Coolio.
A special programme from Birmingham in the heart of Gardeners World Live, an annual vibrant celebration of practical gardening and bold design. Monty Don is joined by Francis Tophill, Adam Frost, Arit Anderson and Sue Kent for an hour packed with ideas, inspiration and expert advice. The team explore standout gardens, meet the people sharing the future of horticulture and reveal practical takeaways viewers can try at home. Sustainability is in the spotlight as pioneering growers reveal why cork could be a game-changing material and how it's already transforming the way they garden. There's a surprising and ambitious show garden co-designed by Professor Alice Roberts, bringing the story of evolution to life through plants, and a first-time designer whose passion for railways has inspired a unique garden guaranteed to turn heads.
Ooh, very interesting. Interested about the cork one?
Yeah, that will be very interesting. Well, if you want to get in touch with us about anything that we've talked about in this episode, you can do so through our website on the contacts page, and that is at
notjustagarden.co.uk,
or you can email us at
notjustagarden@outlook.com.
That's right. And if you want to subscribe to get, first of all, first notification of the episode, you get it ahead of time. Also, that beautiful plant list that Sweet Pea puts together.
Yep.
And details of any other discounts. Not forgetting, of course, the wonderful discount of 20% on Farida Sober's ebook.
Come on, people.
And, of course, Dan Stern's discount of 10% on all his beautiful plants at Dan's Plants.
Yeah.
His online nursery.
Exactly.
You get notification of things like that if you subscribe. And you can do that through any page on the website, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, sweetie, I think we need to get on with the day. We need to take off these lapel mics. You need to get out of your pyjamas. And we need to get cracking.
I am in my PJs. Woohoo!
And we shall see you next week.
Sure will. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye, Sweet Pea.
Bye, Mummy Bear.